Hi, how's it going? So in this video, I just want to talk about how you can chart for profit. So this is actually the title of this book, and this is the first book I've ever read on trading, and it's written by this lady called Jean Temkin. She's a trader in South Africa, and she uses technical analysis in order to create profits in the market. So I actually read this book some years ago when I was trying to find a way that I could make some extra money. And the way that I got into trading was through different means. I found out about trading online, and then I just did a little bit of some research on it, and then I got to find out that it's quite in the beginning I thought it was something that's easy and I would start making money as soon as possible. So I opened an account and I deposited all the money that I had, and I told some girls that I'm gonna do that, some friends that I had, and they when I told them, I was telling them like, hey, get ready, because like tonight we're gonna go out. Like that was my psyche at the time, because I thought that it was gonna be so easy. So I put on some trades, and then I lost my money, and my mind was just in a twist because I felt so stupid, and I thought that I didn't know what I was doing, that I was a loser, that I was a phony, a fake, a fraud, everything. And I basically lost hope in it, and for a while I stopped trading, and I ran into this book and I just started reading it. So in this book, she's talking about different ways that people make money. So there are different ways that you can start to make money. In the book, she speaks about point and figure charting. She focuses on the South African market primarily, and she talks about some patterns, double tops, triple tops, and talks about bar charts, moving averages, line charts, and all of that stuff. And in the end, she talks about fundamentals, and she just uses this as the icing on the cake. So this is how I actually began to know about trading, and it really helped me. And the point is, just reading in general will give you a perspective of what people do think about trading from any perspective. So when I read this initially, this gave me an awareness of what trading is in her point of view, and this was something that helped me to some extent. Although I do think that the book is about technical trading and it's not necessarily about the full package of trading. So it didn't tell me about the fundamentals to a great degree. It didn't go deep into that. And right now, what I've seen in my own trading is that I do appreciate the fundamentals more and more, because the way that I'm set up is that I want to know how strong the trend is, and the only way that I can really know that for sure is to know the underlying trend. So this is something that, right. So let me break it down. The way that I see the market is that the market is all currencies are water-based currencies, and the way that a current flows is the same way that currencies flow. So all of the currencies flow, and if you want to have the idea of technicals and fundamentals, the way that I see it is that the technicals are just the current, right? That you can see that the river is flowing in a current, and this current is actually what forms power or purchasing power, and this is a current that forms power, and currencies give you purchasing power, and the underlying currency is the fundamental. So when I am looking at it, I see that the fundamentals are the underlying currents, and they influence the trend. So you could see that there is a river that flows, and it looks still. It looks like it's not moving. But if you look at it closely, you see that Under the water, there is this current that is flowing steadily, and it's moving at whatever pace and strength. And this trend is the fundamental trend, and this is what you should know if you're going to navigate in that river. If you're a fish, then you actually need to know the fundamental direction of the trend. However, if you're going to be just crossing the river, you could use a bridge or whatever. But if you're gonna be in the water, you have to be in that fundamental direction, or else you have to use more energy to fight against the dominant trend. So that's just how I see it in terms of that. And that's why I think that fundamentals are very important in determining the strength of the trend. Because at the end of the day, we want to determine where the trend is and where it's starting. In this book, Charting for Profit, I like the fact that it points out how you can use point and figure charts. And this is something that I'm not exactly deeply into, but this is something that I'm starting to appreciate more and more each day, because point and figure charts tell you where the price is and when it's trapped in a range. So a point and figure chart would look something like that. I hope you can see that clearly, but that is what it looks like. And so it just looks like you're playing X's and O's and stuff like that. So this is another outtake here. So hope it's not blurry or anything like that. So this is a point and figure chart. So you can see them in different charts, and they appear in different ways. And another thing that I saw was that, all right, fine, on the point and figure charts, the reason they're important is because markets move in booms and busts. The whole economy moves in booms and busts. So it basically means that there's a time when the market is flat, and there's a time when it just goes vertical. So it goes horizontal, then it goes vertical. So it just does that the whole time. And that's how you get the trend, just like the meandering river. So you have to know that, and the X's and O's are representing a movement up and a movement down. So when you get a lot of O's, for example, it means that there are a lot of ranges that are going down. So this looks at it as in a holistic point of view. Okay, and well, so much about that, and maybe we'll go into point and figure charts deeper some other time. And in this book, I also learned that the market is supposed to be read on a technical level. So charting is an art, and it's a science. It's something that you use to indicate where the strength is and where to enter, where to exit, and where to protect your profits. So this is very important for a person who wants to do who wants to trade a short period of time and who wants to do some intraday trades. So this is something that I discovered very quickly, and I picked it up very quickly. So some of the patterns described are double tops and double bottoms, head and shoulders patterns, and trend lines. So all of these are things that I still use today. So it's a very small book. As you can see, it's quite thin, and some of the stuff here was so simple that I thought that it couldn't be, because as I stated before, this was one of the first books I read. So when I read it, I thought that nah, this stuff is way too easy. But simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So the more that I looked for profits in the market in the beginning, the more that I complicated my own trading. So I used so many indicators and stuff like that. But in the end, I removed all of the indicators and appreciated that if I'm going to use them, I'm just using them to confirm something that I already suspect, but not to use them as a signal onto themselves. The only thing that really matters, and what I saw from this book and from all of the other books, the common denominator of all of the profitable traders I've seen is that they all use price action. But what goes beyond price action is something called tape reading. And I've released a couple of videos on tape reading, so you can just go through them if you're interested in learning more about tape reading and just looking at the different price levels through that. But when you know price action, you know the technicals, and you also know the tape, but a lot of people don't focus on the tape. So this is something that I really learned, and it also has some indicators and stuff like that. And let's see, this is a book that I would recommend if you want to read it. I don't know if it's still in print actually. Let me see when it was published. 97. I was 6 years old when that was published. Yeah, I'm not that old. But this book really helped me. And some of the books that I've read on trading were books that are old, like Wyckoff books, Jesse Livermore's books, all of those. Who else? Yeah, all of those old books I actually find are the best books, and some of the best traders were ancient traders. So in charting for profit, I hope that you also develop your own style. The way that people talk about style in trading, sometimes it reminds me of martial arts. So it also takes the same type of discipline, like martial arts, the same type of style. So just like as you are gonna choose what art to master, you also do the same thing when it comes to trading. So you could be a person who likes Tai Chi, and maybe you think Tai Chi is too slow. I like Tai Chi. You could be a person who likes Muay Thai, or you think that is too violent. You could be a person who likes Aikido or karate or kung fu, whatever. So all of these are just your different preferences. And if you look at it that way, you see that this is just how different people trade. So it's just gonna be you fighting against yourself, not even the market. It's you fighting against yourself, and that's what martial art is all about. And all martial arts are just training you to be disciplined within yourself and meditating and things like that, so that you have some self-reflection. So the same thing applies when you're trading, that it's all about how you end up mastering your own self and your own mind. And if you look at it that way, then you'll be able to find the art that you'll be able to master. So I made this video so that I could prove to you that this is one of the books that I actually started reading, and everyone who trades, everyone, 100% of the people who trade lose money. 100% of the people who trade had to learn to trade. So reading books is one of them. Watching videos like this is another way, and getting in touch with people who actually trade is the ultimate way. So all of these avenues are readily available at your disposal, as far as I can tell. So just keep on doing that. So 100% of the people lose money, right? But then you're supposed to lose some of the money, but you're supposed to make sure that you regain all of the other money that you get. And this book actually didn't go into things like account management, and it didn't talk about like risk reward ratios, as far as I could tell, but it spoke about how you should just be able to read the chart and be able to get into the flow of the things. And she actually just used to look at the paper in order to get fundamentals. And today I I get fundamentals through the internet, and we all do. So just keep in mind that this was pre internet dominance. Like the dot-com bubble was in the 90s, late 90s. But whatever you can learn from whatever era, you should take it as closer to the source. So when I hear about people who used to trade from the tape, I think that's pretty awesome, and I actually want to develop that type of skill. Like Jesse Livermore didn't use a chart. Imagine that. Just like Warren Buffett, the richest investor, he doesn't use charts. But not to say that that is more superior, but that is definitely the purest way to do it, because that's closer to the source of how people used to actually trade and make money. So if you can actually do it like that, then you've gained a skill that's priceless. So the closer you are to the sources, the further you go in time, the more that you go back in history. So this is charting for profit, and I hope that you make profits through the charts.